back to another episode of ICOM Webcast. My name is Richard Santana. I'm the Manager Director of Colectivo 360, a real estate consulting firm in Puerto Rico. Today, we'll be hearing from the man in charge of managing corporate and government relocation contracts around the world. Starting his career as a relocation assistant, he is now the director of a company that relocates an average of 6,000 employees with an annual spend of $500 million. We are excited to present my good friend, Bill Mulholland, Director at Art Relocation. Bill, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You have a wonderful office, so thanks for opening your offices to ICOM Webcast.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming.
You have an amazing enterprise. Tell us a little bit about your background.
So, as you can probably imagine, I never, as a little boy, dreamed of being in the relocation industry one day. Kind of stumbled into it. Grew up in the Washington, D.C. area and went to George Mason University in Washington, D.C. And after college, I got a job at a company that's no longer around called the Associates Relocation. They hired me to work on the FBI contract and relocate FBI agents. So I thought I was working on the witness protection program. I had no idea what relocation is.
Okay.
But I worked for that company for 5 years and I gained a lot of knowledge. And in 2004, I decided to start ARC Relocation. So it's been 15 years now, and it's been a wonderful journey.
That was in Washington, right?
Yeah, so I came here to Puerto Rico in April of 2018. So I've been here over a little bit over a year and a half now. And yeah, we've opened up our office. The office has been running for a little bit over a year.
How did you end up in Puerto Rico?
So I had mentioned that I started my career in the government. ARC to this day still has a lot of government contracts. In fact, the largest contract that we have is with the Department of Homeland Security. And so I've done business in Puerto Rico now for about 20 years with the DEA and the FBI and many of our federal law enforcement clients. And in around 2017, with our Department of Homeland Security, we are tasked of buying the homes of federal agents if they can't sell them when they relocate. So a lot of Customs and Border Protection agents, Border Patrol agents like that, we started buying their homes in Puerto Rico. And I always used to vacation here. I love Puerto Rico. It's such a beautiful island. It's such a wonderful place. I never thought that I'd be lucky enough one day that it would be my home. But I began to travel down here to manage these inventory of homes that we had. And I began to talk to our real estate attorney here on the island and discovered the amazing opportunities that are going on in Puerto Rico for not only business owners like myself, but their families to relocate and come and live.
And how would you describe doing business from Puerto Rico rather than stateside?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's pretty much the same. You know, like a lot of people, at first I thought maybe it would be crazy to relocate my business outside the continental United States, especially being a pretty large government contractor. But what I came to find out is, you know, we have the internet in Puerto Rico, we have televisions, we have power. So doing business in Puerto Rico really is the same as doing business anywhere else. In fact, what we came to find out is there's a lot of large advantages of doing business down here. So, you know, over the last year and a half that we've been here, we haven't had any significant hiccups. And in fact, we've probably come across a lot of advantages that has helped our business grow and flourish even more.
And I think maybe from your perspective, one of the challenges is how we adapt, because we are a different culture.
Sure.
What has been your experience coming to Puerto Rico where it's totally different? How has your family adapted? How have you adapted? How is the community embracing you?
Sure. Yeah, no, it's very different. So being in the Washington, D.C. area, everyone's busy. Everyone minds their own business. It's not a very close-knit community by any stretch of the imagination. It's very transient. There are a lot of people that are coming in and out. Puerto Rico is, you know, I think 3,500 square miles, and there's 3 million people, but people are very friendly. It's a very close-knit community. We were shocked when we moved down here how welcoming people were, and in fact how much they went out of their way to not only welcome us, but make us feel comfortable and help us get adjusted and acclimated to the island and get set up successfully. And the same thing in the business world, you know, in a lot of areas, you know, major cities like Washington, D.C. and New York and L.A., people are very hands-off. They're having a telephone conversation. In Puerto Rico, they want to meet you for lunch. They want to shake your hand. They want to come into your office. And it's refreshing in a lot of ways. I enjoy it, and it makes those business relationships more solid. So when you make a contact in Puerto Rico, that's a real contact that you can rely on. And already I can honestly say the business contacts that I've made in the year and a half that I've been here are more than the last 15 years I had in Washington, D.C.
Great. So you're unique because not only do you relocate companies and individuals, you relocated yourself.
Right.
So what would you tell corporations or individuals that have thought about Puerto Rico? What would be your insights or recommendations before moving or actually considering Puerto Rico?
Yeah, so I mean, it's always different when you do it yourself. I thought because I had relocated so many people to Puerto Rico that I had it down just pat. But you know, for myself, I have 2 little girls, so when you're relocating with kids and a family, you have more to consider than just yourself. So the main thing that we checked out, like most people that are relocating, were the school systems. And our girls go to an amazing school. It's an international school called TASIS, and they've adjusted extremely well. But the one thing I did know what to do as the owner of an employee relocation company that I would highly suggest to all people is I did my research. I did my due diligence. In the relocation industry, that's called pre-decision. And so what you want to get an employee that's relocating to any area is information on the school systems, mass transit, recreation info, information on the housing market, and then encourage them to do house hunting trips. Spend as much time there as you can and research everything so that when you do get there, there are no surprises and the likelihood for failure is a lot less. And so we definitely did that. I mean, we didn't take this decision lightly, especially with uprooting our children and changing schools and things of that nature. We did a ton of research on the front end, and thank God it turned out that this decision was 100 times better than we ever thought it would be.
I'm glad you mentioned due diligence. I think it's very important because the reality, relocating, it's not for everyone, or at least you gotta make sure which place is the right fit.
Right.
Because one of the things we try to do with the icon, it's pretty much provide that guidance and information both from the structure and the service providers, but people like yourself that, hey, I moved down here and this has been my experience.
Right.
So going back to the community, I know you're very involved with the community in Dorado and overall with the Act 2022. What can you say about what you've seen in the community in Puerto Rico from both the lifestyle, nonprofit collaborations? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll answer your first question on the lifestyle. I mean, the lifestyle is incredible. You know, I'll give you my kids as an example. In Northern Virginia, where we lived, my kids were on their iPads. They were inside inside the house. You know, right now here we are in January. I was talking to my coworker. It was 20 degrees yesterday, and it was 83 here in Puerto Rico.
That's a big difference.
Big difference. So my kids are outside. It's like back in the day when we were kids. They're riding their bikes. They're going to the beach. They're hanging out. I honestly haven't really even watched my TV since I moved here. You know, very, very rarely. My wife and I are at the beach too. We're outdoors. You know, it's just such a better lifestyle. And then I mentioned before the sense of community and how close-knit people are. You know, from a philanthropic standpoint, you know, and people ask me when I moved to Puerto Rico, they talk about Maria and the earthquakes and a lot of the negative things. But as a community, I've never seen people so willing to help each other than before I moved here. And even other people that we've met who have moved here recently, you fall in love with the island so much that you feel so obligated to help that people go out of their way to help one another. And again, just my experience, and you know, I love Northern Virginia. It's a great place. I never thought I'd leave, to be honest with you. You don't have that sense of community or that sense of duty to help others that I think you do when you live in Puerto Rico.
And going back to this is an investors conference, real estate is one of the components we're really touching upon.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, how do you see the investment climate from your perspective or your peers? What have you seen? Is it too good to be true?
Sure.
What are your insights?
Well, as a guy who owns a global relocation company, I have the insight to a lot of real estate markets. We have clients in the San Francisco Bay Area, we have clients in Los Angeles, Manhattan, Miami, you name it. We move people to 85 countries annually, many countries that I've never even heard of, like Kwajalein. We do a lot of moves there. It's in the Marshall Islands.
Okay.
It's a military-only island. One of our government contractor goes there. But the point is that on a day-to-day basis for the last 20 years, I've been looking at real estate markets, and I've seen some crazy ones, and I have never seen anything in my life with the potential of some of the areas in Puerto Rico. We live in a community called Dorado Beach, and we bought a home there. We settled on our home in June. And I wish I bought a home as soon as I moved here and didn't decide to rent for a year and wait it out. But with the level that Puerto Rico is growing and with the potential that Puerto Rico has I honestly can say I think it's the best potential for real estate investment that I can see anywhere.
I agree with you. So to wrap this up, what should we tell our audience to expect at Icon?
If you're coming to Icon, and I would highly suggest that you do, I think and I hope that you will hear from people like myself who are experts in their industry, who can offer first-hand accounts of not only their experience in Puerto Rico, but why they made their decision and why it was a successful decision. So I honestly feel like in many times in your life when you're successful, you automatically have an obligation to give back, and that's why I'm doing this. This has been such a great thing for my company and my family. I want to share that message.
Bill, thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother.
Bill will be one of 50 speakers at the Puerto Rico Investors Conference. You can go to our website, prinvestorsconference.com. To our audience, thanks for tuning in and stay in touch.